This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
The biggest icon in podcasting.
Welcome in, everybody, to this week's edition of Doc and Jock. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Joining me, big baller himself, my cousin Adam, the Jock Strozinski, just oozing money with his $1 million belt, living it up, living the good life. What's up, cuz?
You know that's going to start to stick here. You keep saying it. I mean, you got Noah on the open mic sitting there talking about how I've had my adventures with golf is what I think he had mentioned, which includes my getting new clubs. So you keep talking about this. People are going to start to believe this madness coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, look, you showed it. You put out evidence, visual evidence. You're like golfing, hanging out, $2,000 clubs. You know, everyone sees your living area when you record. You got this big, massive TV, a signed Steve Yzerman jersey. What are you hiding? Okay, cuz. Listen, nobody's listening. You slinging that shit? Listen, it's okay. No one's listening. You can share. Listen, it's 2020. No one's judging anymore. You slinging?
I can tell you all that stuff, right? It's just a secret between me and you, exactly, and every other listener.
Oh man, listen, I'll give you respect. I know you work hard. I know you're putting money away. I don't know. I don't think you do any side hustles or things like that. So that's a disclaimer. Adam does not sling anything to the people. You know, I know he's probably thought about it, but listen, we can't judge him for having impure thoughts.
Look, not on this podcast, but maybe on another podcast, we could talk about what I was going to set up when I was going to Wayne State at University Towers.
Oh,
we could talk about that.
Oh yeah, one day when we just feel free to air it all out and tell all the stupid ass shit we did. You know, I'm thankful.
Mind you, caveat: I did not set anything up, and we did not sling drugs out of University Tower. I thought about it.
Exactly. Nope. Adam and I are on the up and up. 100% legit business practices all the way around here at the DSP network. Man, cuz look, it's an interesting time in regards to Detroit sports. It's an exciting time. At least we get an opportunity. You know, we had an opportunity to check out Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal. It's a dawning of a new era for the Detroit Tigers, and we'll talk all about that in the second half of the podcast. And it's just good because when new seasons arise with the Lions and now the Tigers are bringing up the young cats, it's good for us to talk about fresh things. It's good for us to talk about around this time when training camp begins for the Lions, to take a look at some of the young rookies. What are they actually accomplishing on the field? The hype season is in full swing. Overreaction season is in full swing, maybe fueled by a fellow podcaster that you all love. We're going to talk all about it, but I'm excited. The more I get into it, the more I podcast with you guys, and the more I cover the sports world, I'm so passionate and excited to talk about these things. I'm really, really excited to talk about the Detroit Lions and them kicking off. It's just so good to see football back in the swing of things. So I'm so happy that we get a chance to talk about training camp, some of the news and information, and I'm just so thrilled to be able to broadcast and talk about the Lions. It's training camp, baby.
You know, it doesn't feel like training camp at all because we haven't watched any preseason games, and like access, it feels like it's been super limited. It's going to be so weird going into the football season without really having previewed or even taken a peek at a lot of these guys and at this team. Like, this is, to me, it feels weird because normally at this point, what are we in? We're in like game 2, game 3 of the preseason, and we're getting all revved up for the upcoming season, and we've got nothing. We've got nothing. Like all we have are the great articles that you do on SI.com. All we have are some small videos that get tweeted out here and there by the Lions beat writers, and that's about it.
Yeah,
you don't really know anything that's going on right now.
Yeah, it is really, for the Lions, it's kind of like great for them. There's only like 12 media members. It's super limited. You can't even live tweet during practice. Now the rest of the league is starting to kind of adopt that. Fellow colleague at SI recently said that last year, just as early as last year, you could have shot video of one-on-one drills, and they locked it down this year because of the highly competitive nature of football and how much people are actually paying attention to online things. I'm certain that one of the Packers probably checked out Detroit Sports Podcast this week to see what's this guy writing about. Oh, Okudah looks like he's having a little bit of trouble. Let's see what's going on. So I know it's not rocket science, it's football, but everything's top secret. They cut away during the portions of the drills and things like that. It's top secret. That's the way the league is going, and it's becoming state run. But there's still a lot of information being put out there and being disseminated because the opportunities to talk to the coaches and players are out there. But look, it's kind of all the same in that you're going to have battles, you're going to have opportunities to see and talk about some of the players that are out there, and based on in-person view. And you can basically get a sense of who's writing what and what they're observing. So it's a good thing. Yeah, definitely check out all the coverage. It's definitely different. It's way scaled back, but that's just, we have to accept it because of COVID. And look, it's actually safer. And to be quite honest, cuz I've had the experience now last year of being there for 2 hours and now sitting at the office here and watching it live via the website. It's way better just sit in the office in my own comforts. Everybody's reporting what I need anyway. And then, little tidbit secret here, me being here, I can just boom, Vito, they did this, boom. We got an article up within 40 seconds. Within literally 5 minutes of the announcement of Jayshon Cornell's severe injury, we had an article up. And it really provides an advantage, basically, for us not to go. It's good to be in person because you get a sense up close and personal of all the drills, who's where. But that information is being relayed. It's not being kept secret. Yeah, now some of it is being put behind a paywall, but you still have access to it. I mean, for $3 for the next 3 months, you can get any information you need, or if you subscribe or you check out si.com, the information's out there. The thing that stinks is we can't see what this translates to on the field. So the thing that now we're starting to pick up on, and that's a little bit concerning, is that, you know what? When these games start, how sloppy is football going to be that first couple games? I mean,
it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I'm talking about how many penalties are the Lions going to take early on in that first game against Chicago. I got a good feeling that the testing is outrageously positive. I mean, after the first week, the Lions are taking it seriously. They're not trying to sneak in any ladies of the night into hotels like Seattle rookies are doing. So that's good. The Lions are taking it quite seriously. It hasn't, gotten into the building, and I think that they can do it. They can create a semi-bubble in a situation in which that you can at least give the fans an opportunity to watch a completed season. So I'm very hopeful that, look, an outbreak is going to take place, but there's going to be enough of reserves and enough, I think, of a backup plan to at least get players in. Yeah, you could have, a team start 6 new people all in 1 week, but I'm a little bit more confident than I was a couple weeks back because the testing is a little more advanced. And now you're hearing reports of the saliva test that's even faster, a little bit as accurate, and that can get information out there. So I'm confident football is going to take place. It just absolutely stinks that we can't watch football. We can't watch it yet, and I think we're all starving for it. We all want to be able to see, 11 on 11. Let's see, because look, we've all seen Stafford throwing to Golladay in the end zone. I saw that 40 times last year. It happens. They make plays. What does it look like when Stafford lines up against Khalil Mack and it's 3rd down and 8 in the third quarter when they're down 3? Do they make the play? That's what we want to see.
That's where my big concern is with all of this, right? So you're not allowed to hit another team. You're not allowed to practice with having like the preseason games. And that's where my big concern is, because you're essentially overhauling this offensive line. And this offensive line at times, a lot of the time, doesn't look very good. And now you're possibly going to be starting 2 new guards that are rookies. Like, they need time to possibly learn how to process going up against somebody who's bigger, stronger, faster. And like, there's nothing like hitting each other for real. There's nothing like having that preseason game to kind of warm up and see what it's like. And now you're going to have Matt Stafford, a guy who's coming off of 2 back injuries in back-to-back years under center, possibly getting rained down upon by some of the best DNs and interior defensive linemen in the league. I mean, Jesus Christ, this could be a bloodletting for Stafford. You better start him in the shotgun for the first 25 plays on offense, because there's no reason he should be under center, possibly getting popped for no good reason. Do you know what I'm saying?
And the part that the coach a little bit kind of has led on, what Matt Patricia said was, look, I could spend more time on fundamentals, pad level, that the attention to details has got to be there, and you're shuffling in a bunch of new players as well. So there's going to be inherently prepare for some mistakes. But I think the teams that overcome it the best, the teams that have veteran talent, I think you're going to see early on. You're going to see Jamie Collins out there all over the place. You're going to see veterans take more of the lead early on, and absolutely no doubt. That's why it's good, I think, the setup, at least for the Lions to, at this point, have an opportunity. And look, if you're listening to this podcast or you're reading with the hopes that the Lions are going to make the playoffs and have 9, 10, 11 wins, pump the brakes. 7 and 8 wins is probably the ceiling for this team. And that would still be quite an increase in production based on a 3-win season. Yeah, Stafford is returning healthy. Yeah, you're going to see progression. But how much progression? Because you also did lose quite a bit of talent. Graham Glasgow, Darius Slay, they walked out. And you have a bunch of new coaches. And so I know the fans want to have this fairy tale where everything that happened, that was negative, it doesn't exist, and everything that's positive is highlighted. But look, let's be real here. Be serious. If the Lions get 8 wins, you should be happy. You should be like, okay, this is progression. This looks like a team then that can potentially make more plays and is moving in a different direction other than backwards. So take it with a grain of salt. I know it's hype season. You will hear articles that come out and say, the Lions are a long shot and this and that and dark horse. You'll hear that a lot. But listen, I'll shoot straight with you. Dark horse is code for clicks. You write that when you want, attention. The Lions are dark horses to win the division every year for the last 5 years. It rings hollow the more you write that. Yeah, they have an expectation to win more. Believe that. But they actually have to step up and do it. And they're going to have to count on some key pieces being rookies. It's nice to see that DeAndre Swift is getting some love, getting some comparisons to Alvin Kamara, getting some comparisons to Christian McCaffrey. That's nice. And he's actually making plays, burning by linebackers, showing that he can be part of the passing game. That should be expected from DeAndre Swift. I think it's impressive. I think that early on, Swift has been the rookie that's kind of has taken a step forward and said, I'm taking this seriously. I'm going to take advantage of the work I did with Stafford in the offseason, and I'm going to come out here and handle my business. And that's great because the offense is set up to do that. And if used properly, Bevel should be able to utilize his skills properly to get production. I'm impressed. I've been happy with at least what I've read and observed from DeAndre Swift after 2 days of padded practices and training camp.
Do you think it's safe to say that he will probably take the reins as a starting running back this season? I see him taking over for Kerryon Johnson. Look, my big concern with Kerryon Johnson is his ability to stay healthy. I don't think he can. I don't think Kerryon Johnson is this elusive running back that has this gear where he can just break away from you and take it to the house. I think Kerryon Johnson's best utilized as this possible third down back. I know that you're probably going to tell me that they're going to go with split carries. Yeah. But I think at some point what will happen is as the season wears on, all of a sudden DeAndre Swift, his number will get called more than Kerryon Johnson's, and he will be the guy who is put into prime time when you need to get a play. Do you think that is a fair assessment of how this is going to play out?
I think you have a right to say that because the odds would indicate that Kerryon might take a wrong hit and might find himself missing some time. When you miss 14 games in your first 2 years, the injury question is out there. It's serious. It's for real. So it could be by default. Now, based on merit, I think that, like you said, the Lions want to have a bunch of different combinations of potentially, why not? If things are rolling smooth, I would not be opposed to definitely formations that include both Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift, which would confuse the hell out of defenses as opposed to being predictable where if Swift's in, the one thing you don't want to be is predictable. And the one thing you got to become fearful of is if Swift's in there, then it's a screen or it's not a run play. Because early on, like I said, yes, he has the capability of running, but the offensive line is going to be basically new and put together. So you're not going to want to risk him getting blown up early. So I think he's going to be utilized more in the passing game early. And you still got Scarborough. You still got other people that can maybe get some of those yards outside of Kerryon Johnson. So for me, early on, I think that they're going to experiment a little bit with some different combinations of running backs. But yeah, you're going to see running back by committee. But Kerryon Johnson, I think to stay healthy should get 16 carries. And then you got to remember too, because I started to look at how Kerryon was used early on when he was a rookie. Because early on, they took it real slow. It was Patricia's first year. He was a second-round pick, and we were like, use him. I believe the number was in 3 of his first 4 games, he saw less than 10 carries. So that indicated that, they're going to take their time, their sweet-ass time, revving these guys up. And that's probably to be expected because as smart as DeAndre Swift is, he probably doesn't know 40% still of the playbook. He's still got to understand and process in real time. So, look, potential's there. That's great. But it's fair to say pump the brakes. He's not going to be Alvin Kamara year 1. If you can get Vito's looking at around 600-700 yards, couple touchdowns, make some plays, move the chains, give us indication and hope that you're going to be productive in the future, that's all that we need from DeAndre Swift year 1. Now, on the other side of it, when we talk about rookies, I understand the notion of being patient, but early on, the reports that were coming out about Jeff Okudah was, dude's having a hard time with his footing. And you're hearing he's getting beat and slipping on Kenny Golladay, lost both his one-on-one battles. Look, we're not going to say he's a bust after 2 practices. But what we're saying is, and this holds true and definitely rings true for young athletes, you got to kind of act like you belong and start making some plays, breaking up some things, hitting somebody, doing something to make yourself known. And the cornerback position, look, that's why there was a lot of people that were against drafting a cornerback that high. There's such a big learning curve. Kenny Golladay can easily make Jeff Okudah look silly, and he did. And you look at it and you say, there's a reason why cornerbacks take forever. Wide receivers and quarterbacks are so in sync that it's so hard for corners. And also, to remember, physics, cornerbacks are running backwards and wide receivers are running forwards. They have a little bit of an edge when they make that cut to, and in football, it really is a game of inches. They have that inkling of a second to make the decision if they're going to go right or left. And the greats clamp down. The great defensive backs clamp down quickly. But look, be patient with Jeff Okudah. But on the other end of it, I definitely am disappointed and upset that we're not hearing that, we're not seeing that first video. It's not against the law to have a highlight video of Jeff Okudah picking off Stafford day 1. I mean, it's practice. That should, listen, I would have even staged it. Look, Stafford, throw the ball to fucking Okudah and just let's get the hyper chain rolling. And listen, he's got to make plays. He can't be slipping all over the football field. But at the same time, it's going to take time. It's not even week 1 of 4. So let's calm down on that. I know I wrote my classic good headline, but I just wrote the facts. Nothing behind it. I just said Jeff Okudah's getting beat. Everyone else is reacting to it. That's their problem. He's getting beat in practice. Yeah, he's making a couple plays here and there, but he's not making enough where the reporters are like, whoa, right away. You saw the reports. You're a consumer of the media. You saw, damn, DeAndre Swift is making the linebackers look unbelievably tough. So Swift looks good. On the other end, you're hearing Jeff Okudah it's like, damn, DeAndre Swift is awesome. And they're like, be patient with Okudah while he gets burned by Cephas and Golladay. It's like, come on, you can't have it both ways. It's fair, right, to at least go, wait a minute, Jeff, what's up? Couple days, let's go. Act like you've been there.
I mean, I think it's fair, but I also seen you tweet out Darius Slay getting beat by Deshaun Jackson.
Bro, that was the first rep he took, bro. That is still getting commented on today. Listen, okay, I saw that, and I was late on that. That actually happened a day and a half after I posted. A day and a half later, I'm like, oh boy, will the people like this? I'm like, yeah, they're gonna like it because I saw. And I'll share with you off the air a secret where I know the deciding line of whether I do an article or not. But I saw it, and the marker was there, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I did it. I posted it, and whoo, it's still getting talked about. You guys are Doc, you're the reason why high-priced athletes won't come. Let's not do this now. It is literally 400 comments on Facebook. Still getting,
you're the reason.
I know, I'm the reason.
You are the reason.
I'm the reason. I just said that, Deshaun Jack, and it was bad because Darius stumbled and he blew by him, and it was great to see. And hey, look, not everybody has Twitter, and I just felt the need for the public to see this play. So it's done absolutely well. Still a lot of people, I'm looking at it right now. Of the people on the site, I can do quick math here, Darius Slade, 14% right now of the people on the site are on that article. Still.
Love it.
They love it. Well, listen, I know what draws. I know what brings. I know what draws. I know the deal. And look, I thought it was valid. Deshaun Jackson deserves some props. That's what it was. Chad Johnson wanted to highlight it. And stay tuned, too. Vito's going to talk about that. Just as you go through, Calvin Johnson did his annual I Hate the Lions article, and Jeff Schwartz came out and was like, dude, I got fined for being a pound overweight with Jim Caldwell. And so as much love as there is for the Lions, you don't have to look too far for the hate. And it's warranted. This team's not that good. So and the organization, is not that good collectively for all the people to just be loving on the Lions. So it's just the way it is. And so if you want to look for the hate, it's there. Jeff Schwartz blasted the Lions. Calvin did his annual piece blasting the Lions. And we got to take
Can we talk about Calvin real quick? I know we've touched on it in the past, but he keeps coming out and doing these press interviews with whomever.
Yeah.
And it's always the same thing. Like it was $1.6 million, bro.
Yeah.
You earned a ton of money. I'll find out real quick what his totals earnings were for his career, but you earned a ton of money. Like, I get it. The Lions do not look good by making you pay this money back. And I think this was a Bob Quinn thing. I don't think this was a Martha Ford thing. This was a Bob Quinn thing. I think this was Bob Quinn coming into an organization saying, hey, this is how I'm going to run things. I have no loyalty to any of you. And to prove it, your Hall of Fame wide receiver, the best guy who's essentially carried your franchise for years and got you no place, he owes us $1.6 million on his way out the door, and he's going to pay. And I just think it was Bob Quinn playing hardball. And I think at this point, come on, Calvin. It's $1.6 million. What are we talking about?
Okay, I can share. This is now where you all get the free psychological lesson. It's huge ego involved, okay?
Oh, I get it. It's all it is ego.
Because you've seen Darius Slay, you saw what his response was. They didn't do that to Andrew Luck. And so then you got Ebron going, #facts. So what happens is other factors get involved. Straight up, you're absolutely right, cuz. He should just move on, realize $1 million, you have 80 of it probably saved. Let's say you blew it all and you got 10. It's a lot of money. But when you add the other factors, when you go, wait a minute, was I targeted because I'm black? Was I targeted because I'm not Matthew Stafford? It seems like the organization loves...
His career earnings were $113.8 million.
Yeah, 100%. He's loaded. Yeah, of course. And let's say take away half of that for taxes, 60, half of that for blowing spending agents. He probably has $30 million in the bank. You roll that over, that's about $150,000 a year interest just coming to you if you sit on your ass and do nothing. So he's fine. And he still wants to do a business that involves high-end money. So he obviously is not hurting for it. This is not about, in my mind, money. It's $1 million. It's about the fact that he's telling himself, I busted my ass and my fingers are crooked. I ran for you. I drew so much money for you that he probably is telling himself, I made your darling quarterback better than he probably is. And you're going to jam me for $1 million and you're worth $5 billion, and your family? How dare you? So when you let that sit for a minute, and then he doesn't have a doc on his shoulder going, bro, let's just go on a yacht and invite some girls and have some fun and drinks and let's move on. Let's enjoy our money. Let's not talk about this. Let's not keep doing it. You're really going to, by the time you get the $1 million back from the Lions, they're going to hate you so much that you're going to blow an opportunity to make 50. So I would have, if I was advising Calvin, I would have done one interview, get it out of the way. But the problem is, because he draws clicks and people like to read about it, and because it's drama, it's superstar versus owner, boss versus employee, rich wide receiver complains about getting taxed from his owner. And you add all that to it, it's a story, and people like it. And that's why if you see the same reporter interviewing the same guy every year with the headline being, Calvin still hates the Lions, what does that tell you? Come on, the writer's not stupid. He's got a job to do, and he's got to produce numbers, and I don't blame him for doing it. He knows, okay, Calvin, every August is going to get me X, and I make my quota for the week off of Calvin. Look, you think I really wanted, to be honest, and this is a little inside info, but you guys know, you think I wanted to stay up at 9 o'clock to listen to Glover Quinn act like he knows how to interview people and interview Jim Caldwell? Hell no, I wanted to be sleeping. But I knew that, okay, if I get there and I listen to it and there's going to be something that, boom, I knew he was going to say something. So Jim Caldwell said something and boom, we were on it. And so that's just what you got to do in regards to covering a team is you got to know what draws. Look, we talk about the Lions every week. Why? Because I know that when we talk about the Lions, the listen rate is 80% there with the Lions. If I immediately said we're going to talk about the Pistons, it goes down to 40% out of an hour. If we talk Pistons for an hour, people would listen to it for 20 minutes out of the hour. So that's why we talk Lions. That's why we talk the big stuff, because that's where people listen and that's where the numbers are drawn. So with Calvin, I can't blame him. I can't blame the reporters, but I would just say this to Calvin. It's time to move on. It's time to let that story kind of move on. We know you want the $1 million back. We'll know when you show up on the field, you got paid for $1 million. Let it be. Stop saying the same things over and over and over again, because the support that you have will start to wane drastically the more you keep saying the same thing every year and not adding new information and especially doing it for someone who's then putting it behind a paywall. Come on. That's just, come on now, Calvin. Let's move on from that. Let's start talking about relevant things. So, circling back, Okudah, coverage fair, or you go, you know what? I'd like to see him making some highlight plays, at least a couple in the next couple weeks.
I mean, I think it's fair to expect that. I mean, this is the guy that you invested a first-round draft pick on. You could have had your franchise quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa, but no. Instead, you drafted your franchise cornerback, which sounds dirty when you say it out loud.
Yeah. So
I think it's absolutely fair. I mean, this guy was, all the talk about him was he could come in day one and he's going to start and he's going to be good. He's not going to have, I'm doing the rewatch of the 2013 Detroit Lions season right now, right? Yeah. I've taken extra special care to watch Darius Slay play. And Darius Slay through 4 games, first 2 games looked really, really good. Didn't play the 3rd game. And then in the 4th game, Darius Slay kind of got picked apart, but there was something there. Darius Slay always had himself in position, was always ready to make a play, just needed better technique and needed to get a little bit stronger.
Give me a story. You gave me a story idea, cuz. Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yo. So
Okudah needs to step on the field, and he better be at least as good as Darius Slay. That's my expectation. I don't know what the organization's expectation is, but that's my expectation.
And you could actually, if you want to kind of save face, have an Amani Oruwariye, if he's the true, defensive back that gives you a better chance to win, I would not be devastated. I mean, I would write about it, I would comment on it, but if Okudah is not ready yet to handle business regularly, maybe, it's not guaranteed all just yet. Don't write it in stone that he's going to be the number 1 cornerback with Desmond Trufant. It could be based on the fact that, Amani Oruwariye has seen some time with the number 1s. He's a second-year corner now. And, don't assume. In the National Football League, don't assume that if you don't see Okudah, game 1 starting, that he's a bust. And just look at it like this. Exactly. I think you set the standard and you said something very, very, very astute. Let's just judge him not based on the best corners in the world. Judge him based on what we've seen in the past with a cornerback that was drafted high. Let's see how he compares to Darius Slay, his rookie season. And it'll be fascinating. It'll be something that we will watch here on the podcast. We will talk about it. You'll mention it too because you'll have the angle with Darius Slay and you can make astute observations. And I think this works very, very well and is a realistic approach to how we judge Jeff Okudah. It's going to be fun, man. Look, it's been fun. I can't believe it. Like every year I come on and I say, I can't believe how much juice there is in football, but I can't believe how little the juice there is in June. We got good numbers, but the numbers in the first 3 days of training camp are crazy. Like everything I'm putting up is getting like Google action. People are on it, commenting. So people wait for training camp to get fired up. And I'm just thankful for you guys because as this comes out, I'll have celebrated a year at SI. They didn't boot me. They didn't move on from me yet, so I'm thankful. I'm getting a year 2, I believe, if this thing all goes well. So I'm thankful for that. Thankful to be broadcasting with you still on the podcast. They haven't cut us off yet. The internet hasn't shut down, but I am kind of noticing that DSP virus because once they gave the Detroit Sports Podcast access to football, a global pandemic happened that threatened to shut down basically college football. We got a credential just in the last couple of years. I was only kidding, Atmosphere. When I said the DSP virus, I was only kidding. It meant like people didn't want us there and we're acting like a virus. I literally didn't mean bring a virus to the sports that we love. That's, we got to do something for the cosmic universe because literally everything that we've touched has been fucked up to some degree because of our interaction with it. So it's true. There's something there. I don't want to be known for that. So
I mean, it's cool. Just embrace what we are, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing. This is what I find funny, right? So we are this DSP virus, and
right.
we do tend to screw everything up that we touch. I mean,
yes.
Look, WDFN went down.
Exactly. 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 You thought that, and I thought that. I'm like, dude, Adam and I hosted a show there. Now it's gone. It's not. There's no more WDFN.
That's what it is.
It's gone.
So speaking of things just kind of going away. When we have a fingertip on them or we're just in the vicinity, there's a certain player on this Detroit Lions team that you have a certain feeling about, and
yes.
he's due for a contract extension. So I want to know why you feel that the Lions need to protect themselves. Okay. I'm using the word protect themselves.
Yes.
And hold off on extending Kenny Golladay.
Yes. And the blessing of you and I owning a business and looking at costs and what goes in versus what goes out, you have to also think like, okay, each player is an investment. And now that I know a scout and I have a scout also writing a little bit for SI and reading some scouting reports and things like that, and knowing a baseball scout personally and reading some of his reports and how he's broken down information. Bro, everything about these guys' lives is documented. Everything. They know what they've done on social media. They know what the potential legal situation is. They know the risk value. These guys, look, as much as they want to tout, oh, we're a family, and I love you, and Matt Patricia's like, I love you, dog, and I love you, man, and things like that. The second he recognizes from Bob Quinn, yo, Chris Lacey, we brought him back, but there's another guy here that runs like a half second faster. He's going to be like, Chris, sorry, man, bye, it's numbers game. And so, look, it's harsh and it's brutal and it's like hugs and loves and high five one day and see you later, pack your shit and bye the next, just like that. So I have the ability to be like that in that business is a serious business here, and I'm looking at it like this. I look at it like it's my money. So I'm looking at it like, okay, Kenny Golladay was prime. He was perfect. He was this gallant wide receiver that looked flawless, had, speed, had breakaway capability, had this. Now I see a huge red flag. Kenny Golladay admitted, in his media session, he had COVID-19. Okay, thank God he's okay and his symptoms were just a fever and he did his time and he looks okay. But now there's a question that Bob Quinn has to ask is, because this would have happened. I believe if he didn't get COVID, he would have had his extension. He would have had his big money. Now you're Bob Quinn. You got to also go, he's under contract. He's only making $2 million. This is a bargain. We don't really have to give him $18 million per right now. I want to see what happens in November. I think it's up to Bob Quinn ethically and to do due diligence in his job as a general manager to question, wait a minute, I got to wait and see, what does COVID do to this man's body? What if, and I sent a more crass message to you, but what you should see some of the stuff we sent to each other.
Which I loved your message.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I went a little severe. But what if after week 6, he is just absolutely dehydrated and loses a step? What if after 7 weeks, something happens and now he's got different or decreased lung capacity? What if, you got to remember, this is going to be a $90 million to $100 million contract. You got to pause for a minute. If you're Bob Quinn, you might need to take that short-term hit, see about Decker and Golladay, and see about what they'll do in the next 4 months and not extend him just based on the notion of, let's just also take advantage of learning about what COVID can do to a high-end athlete after 5 months. Because this man's going to be put through the rigors, working out, constant running, and peak physical output. It's important that you don't just go, you know what? I like you, Kenny. Here's $100 million. Absolutely not. You need to pause on that contract, make sure that he gets to October, November without having a massive decrease in production or severe ramifications of an illness that we still don't know. Bob Quinn can't say, I trust that Kenny Golladay will be there for me. He can't say that. It's a huge question mark. I'm not making that offer, period. I'm John Macaroon. I look like the biggest dick. I own it. I say it. I put it out there. I thought about it. No, nobody's even thinking about it. I thought about it. I'm like, wait a minute. He's got COVID. He just admitted it. I'm not paying him, period. It's cold-blooded, but that's the reality of NFL football. I need to make sure you're going to be on that football field for the next 5 years. And so, sorry, big money offer, it's rescinded.
This is arguably a top 5 wide receiver in the game. Totally understanding that he just came down with COVID-19.
He was, yes.
And he is, by all accounts, cleared to go and healthy. And you are not going to give this man the money that he deserves because he got sick. This is like saying, hey, John, you got the flu. You're fired.
No,
this is basically what you're saying.
No, it's a little different. It's not that. It's saying, I like you at 2.3 million. We love you at 2.3 million, baby.
Yeah, I was going to say you better love him at 2.3 million.
At 2.3 million, we love you. You can have COVID now and again in October. We love you. We love you, baby. At 18 million, woo! Show me his lung capacity today. Show me it tomorrow. Tell me how fast he ran the 40. Tell me tell me his wingspan. Tell me this. Tell me that. I'm asking for every single piece of information I can get.
Okay, but hold on. Don't you think that the Lions and their doctors aren't going to be checking for this and aren't going to be testing this and aren't going to be doing these things themselves, just not telling you about it?
But there's got to be
as an organization, you have to do this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still we still are only 3 weeks or 4 weeks out of him getting COVID. We still might need a couple. I mean, we need to see game action, recovery time, things like that. I need 2 more months before I drop. So, I need, listen, you can't just take my money after 3 weeks. I need a little bit more courting here.
So after week 4, are you willing to do an extension with this man?
4 weeks. I need 6. My number's 6 weeks.
So after week 6 of the football season, you're willing to give this guy an extension?
I think a month. I could even go out to 2. I need to know because by 6 weeks, you probably know the impact of what it's going to be. But my point is that it should be considered, and it's not wrong if he doesn't. And I think too,
what if it has reverse effects where he's able to run the 40 and all of a sudden he's got
like super COVID man,
right? He's got 0.2 seconds faster.
That'd be awesome.
And all of a sudden, everything that gets thrown at him, he just catches.
COVID
and he can
made
leap
me
out
awesome.
Of the gym now.
That would be something. COVID made me special. I'll write that. COVID. I might even put that in a headline if it's not true. Dude, Kenny Golladay got the COVID. He looks better.
he looks like Calvin 2.0.
But you don't think it's possible. Also, too, take away COVID if you think that argument's ridiculous. You got somebody at 2.3 million. You know it's a contract year. You don't say, okay, show me what you got in the year. I need you to show it. Give me 15 touchdowns and 1,000 yards, and you're going to have 25 million. We'll give you more. If you show us this year what you got, I'll up it. I know it's for perception's sake, but he still got holes in his game. He still didn't, the advanced metrics said that he was struggling with separation. He's been
struggling with separation basically since the day he entered the league.
Yeah, so you got to fix it. I'm telling you. So you want to pay a guy in the top 5 when many people believe that, yes, he is top 15, but not top 5? He's not ranked that high. He's not ranked as he's still got holes in his game. He's not Julio. We're hoping he becomes Julio and DeAndre Hopkins, but that's the hope. He's not there yet.
I think at this point, he is arguably, he is a top 10 player for sure. He's a top 5 wide receiver in the league, arguably. I think the day will come where you have to pay this man. You've got to give him his money. And it only makes sense if you're an organization, you always want to be ahead of the curve, right?
Yep.
So before the bottom falls out on a player, you want to move on from him. Before this guy hits the streak and is deserving of more money, you want to get him on the cheap if possible.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, you're looking to try to protect yourself and pay him now instead of paying him later on. Where you've got to worry about how much it's going to cost you. I'm looking up average salaries here, right? So top 5, right? Let's see here. So DeAndre Hopkins comes in you realize Brandon Cooks makes $16.2 million annually. That's crazy.
Wow.
I don't think he's worth that. Anyways, DeAndre Hopkins is the 5th highest paid wide receiver at 16.2. Highest paid Amari Cooper at $20 million a year. So you figure you take the average of all of this somewhere in the middle, probably looking at like 18.5. So your number at 18 million, pretty accurate. You're saying don't pay him that now. Wait till at least game 6 to offer him a contract like that. Or you could just franchise him for a year. What would you do? Would you franchise him for a year?
Nope. No. I just want to wait. Just, let me just see what post-COVID looks like for an elite athlete, and then the big money's coming. I want to see 11 more touchdowns. I want to see production. I want to see you continue to make Matthew Stafford look a little better. And that's just the way it's got to be. Listen, the doc is tight. I would have the reputation being worse than George Steinbrenner. They'd be like, man, George Steinbrenner was a legend compared to Doc. That dude's cheap as all hell. I would love that reputation. I would revel in it. I'd be like, that's right. The players that got the big check, they would earn it, and they would earn it in the absolute best way possible by producing, by me knowing guaranteed that this guy is going to produce and not steal. You're not stealing the Lions' money. You know why? Because we're paying it. You're paying it. You're the one that goes out there. If they pay him $20 million, that $66 seat now becomes a $69 seat.
Oh, I'm sorry. I messed up my figures. Julio Jones actually makes $22 million.
Yes.
He is the highest paid. My bad.
Yes, so we're not getting the doc. To take something out of the. Listen, I'm not Adam Swazinski dropping $2,000 on golf clubs. Adam would be like, $100 million for you, $100 million for you. Martha Ford and Sheila would be like, Adam, easy on the contracts, bro. Like, we're going way over the cap. You ever hear of taxes? You can't do that. We have a cap, bro. Stop with the contracts. Adam would be like, I don't care. $100 million for you. We're going to give Stafford a couple $100 million.
You do realize Mohamed Sanu, Cole Beasley, Rashard Perriman, who's not any good. All these guys make way more money. Cordello Patterson, I didn't even realize he was still in the league, makes $5 million. The guy we're talking about is 10 times better than these guys.
Okay, so we'll see. Now, a little bit of hope before we get out of here. Skubal, he jacked it all up. He only lasted 2 innings. He was not good. He was overthrowing it, but he hadn't pitched all year, so I had no expectations. I wasn't on no Skubal party. This was a Mize party, so I got a little bit of hate online because I was like, send Skubal back. I'm like, I don't have no attachment to Tariq Skubal, but I'm saying this. The fans were out last night. They were like, how dare you? You are an idiot. You don't know. Look, it's just a hashtag. It's just, I'm not attached to Tariq Skubal. This was a Mize party. It was like, okay, Casey Mize is getting called up and some 2 other guys. That's the way it was. Casey Mize is the prize and those 2 guys are the entourage. So in my mind, send his ass back, not because I hate his guts, because he needs more fine tuning. Dude, it's the big leagues and you can't avoid the guy that's killing the Tigers. Show some respect. Being the dude. Being the asshole. Your man. There's an unwritten rule that you throw what the manager tells you, but you want to make a statement. You come in and that dude's jacking up the Tigers with home run after home run. You come in and your first pitch should have beamed his ass. That would have gained respect, and then whatever you did would have been fine. Instead, you went out there and gave up a home run to a White Sox that's been killing you, and your performance stunk. So I'm like, send his ass back. Let him learn. And because look, don't you guys remember that Max Scherzer went down to the minors and he came back a legend? So it's not like I wanted to cut him. I didn't say cut his ass or trade him. I just said send him back to where he came from. It's a Casey Mize party. And by the time this drops, Casey Mize will have hopefully performed a little bit better. But in my mind, it was just a Casey Mize party finally. And I'm excited to see what this number 1 guy can do. I won't be as harsh on him. He's number 1. So for me...
Shouldn't you be more harsh on him, though?
Look... I'm not going to be as harsh because I think he's going to deliver. I have expectations that he's going to go, by the time this comes out, he'll pitch probably 4 innings, 70 pitches, give up 2 runs. It'll be a 2-2, 3-3 kind of game, and it'll be inconsequential. We just need to see flashes. We need to see poise. I think after him sitting and watching Skubal, I think it was actually perfect. The Tigers threw Skubal to the Wolves. It really should have been my Skubal, really, in the grand scheme of things, based on how this went. But Mize got the star treatment. He gets to sit and watch in the stands, get the highlights, get to see everything, let him learn. Scuba's like, yeah, dude, just go out there and do your thing. It should have been Mize up there right away to start a series, and let's see what happens. But it didn't work out that way. But I'm excited. Look, the Tigers were forced to do it. Al Avila would never have done this if there weren't injuries. But this is a good thing. Play the young players. Let them learn. Let them learn about media pressure. Let them learn about haters like us. Let them learn, hey, there's going to be people out there that are going to dog you after one performance, even with your dad out there going, we love you, and Matt Shepard just drooling all over every pitch. This guy's going to do this in his career. And this young, it's like, okay, Matt, lay off a little bit. It's okay. We know you're getting paid from the team. We know you work, and we know you love your job, but you're letting it out a little thick. Little thick, Matt. Little thick. It's okay to, critique a little bit and be a little bit less of a homer. Just a tad, 4%. You're doing a good job. The bosses are going to love you, but you can say that his performance was god-awful. It's not going to kill him. He'll be fine. He's got supports. He's got to have, got to learn that sports business is a tough business, and that Casey Mize, I think, has the tools, and I think he'll be better. I'm confident. My confidence right now in Casey Mize tells me that I believe he'll be among the more talented individuals, because I think pitchers can evolve a little bit faster. So for me, if you ask me who I think will be better, Casey Mize or Spencer Tokelson, I'm going with Casey Mize. I think he has a high upside, great makeup, and I think that Casey Mize has the potential to be even better than Justin Verlander. I think that he's got an opportunity to handle his business. We'll have a good makeup. We'll have a 23 years old, perfect time for him to come up, and he's got the stuff. He's got the tools. So Tokelson will be good, but it's really tough in this day and age to be a productive hitter. Pitchers have a little bit more of an opportunity to develop, so give me Casey Mize. I don't think Tokelson right away is going to be this big bomber that's going to come up and contribute.
Let me ask you this, because both these guys won World Series with other teams. Who, in your estimation, is a better player? Miguel Cabrera, not at this point in their career, but over the longevity of their career. Miguel Cabrera or Justin Verlander?
Ooh, man. Listen, I think it's a push. I mean, who's better? I think, you got
to pick one.
If I'm going to pick one, I think you'd say Miggy. He's got big numbers. He's still putting up. Justin now is a little older, maybe starting to break down. Might not relive the glory days anymore.
The guy who plays 5 days over the guy who plays every other 5 days usually is the better player. I'm going to go Tokelson on this one, just because he gets more chances to prove it on more days of the week, I guess. So I'm going to go Tokelson over Mize. I think Mize is going to be great, but I think I'm going to go Tokelson.
It's good because now we're paying attention to the Tigers. Look, we haven't really talked that much Tigers. They made a segment.
We haven't.
That's what you do. That's why the losing streak happened, and it's before we get out of here, it stunk too. We talk nice about the Tigers. We put them in a segment. We bring back a Tigers podcast. And the guy that was producing at the best level, CJ Cron, gets hurt. It's real, bro. DSP curse. It's real. We talk about it. We highlight it. We ask, hey, can we come to your media sessions? Can we be part of this? And you continue to ignore us? Well, that's what happens. You deny me, the opportunity to be one of 25 media members to come to the Tigers. That's fine. No problem. No hard feelings. I understand. It's limited, and I'm always going to be outside looking in. But look what happened. You risk losing positive potential coverage. I could be swayed by some, swag, or be swayed by a little bit of, free food or something like that, or maybe a little bit of an interview, something. No, you don't do that? Fine, I'll show you some hashtag. No hard feelings, keep it professional. But, the DSP curse, we got to look more into it, because whenever some positivity comes out of our mouth, something terrible happens, and it's just so weird. But, look, Tigers, in all seriousness, we're going to pay attention. And come hell or high water, the Tigers are at least going to put out some young cats to develop. And hey, if it doesn't work out, then we'll know sooner rather than later. Make sure you follow Adam on Twitter at AdamRSTROZ. Follow the podcast at Detroit Podcast. Look, if you like us, definitely hit us up. Let us know what you think. All right, cuz I do have to ask you one thing in regards to Twitter, because I'm all about the Twitter. They've made a change that potentially could be beneficial to us connoisseurs of hate. You have the ability to limit responses to your tweets as of now. Every single post you make, there's an option that says who can respond to this. Now, you can still quote tweet me, call me stupid and things like that, which highlights my tweet, but it doesn't go to the replies. And it doesn't go to, I don't know, it doesn't, maybe spark off as many hateful comments. First time I hid a couple hateful comments, the dude blocked me and blasted me. He was like, you ruined the point of fun. I was like, look, I don't want to take comments down this road, so you hide the comment. If there's something potentially anti-Stafford or anti-Mize, should DSP throw out some tweets but limit the supporters' opportunity, or just say, hey, let the hate flow and whatever happens. I'll give you a vote on this. What do you think?
I always say, let the hate flow.
Let the hate flow. Yeah, I'm the same way. I couldn't push that button. I didn't think so, but it is quite appealing when I saw some of the "you're stupid," and I was like, you know what? Here's the sick part when that happened. I was like, dude, this is so great. All these people are messaging me at Detroit Podcast, 10,000 views on a stupid hashtag. This is so stupid. How is this possible? And then, the other ones, a little more offensive that are, way out there. But I'm like, you know what? They're tagging me. All the people, the problem is, here's the problem. And I think it's in correlation maybe with IQ. All the people that say the dumbest things have like 50 followers. That stuff that you could retweet or maybe might find funny, it's not as impactful because they got 50 followers or they're behind an egg. The other ones, they have big followings, tend to just have a debate with you and are willing to be a little bit more civil. The wild ones have no value to engage in it. That's what stinks. So look, if you have 10,000 followers or more and you want to hate on me, you might get a chance to get a retweet because I'll engage a little bit more with those that make it more worthwhile if more people will see the nonsense that I'm tweeting. But it's good. It's good, bro. It's good. The engagement's strong. People like us. And I'm so happy to still be doing this 7 years later. Bro, we're approaching, this is 2000, we started in 2013. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We are finishing year 7 going into year 8 of this. 8 years. And it feels
crazy,
like
man.
It has been, a crazy time, but it's been a worthwhile time where we go, we're going to record for 35 minutes and we go 55 minutes. That's what we do because we love doing it. Cuz I love you. You got any money you can lend me?
And I do not. Absolutely, I do not.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know you have to buy your supply. Listen, rule number 1, don't get high on your own supply. All right? Much love. Let's talk next week.
All right, brother. Be good.